Hey everybody, it's Jason Creel and this is the Lawn Care Life. Today I'm going to share with you a story about building this metal workshop. It's wood right now. We're going to put metal around the outside, and the life lessons I learned and why I hope I never have to build another metal workshop for the rest of my life. So here's the deal. We started to have an idea. We're going to build a big shop here on our property, and excited about having that. And I began pricing things and seeing what it was going to cost for like one of these metal buildings that just has kind of the thin metal, little skinny metal tubing that sort of frame it up. I looked into those. I looked into getting a pole barn with wrapped in metal, so with 6x6 wooden posts, and have these people come out that build them all the time. And then I started looking into doing it myself and maybe getting some help and what that would cost and weighing the options. And I picked the worst of those three options. I went the DIY route. Now I'm not the only person working on it. I've got my neighbors helping me, my neighbor's dad, my dad's helping me, and we're making progress, and I think it's going to be a fairly nice building when we get done. But we're 5 days into it, and I think somebody that knew what they were doing, a good crew, would have certainly been finished in 5 days. And I think we might be halfway, hopefully a little more than halfway, but certainly not finished with it, as you can see by the standing structure behind me. So here's what I learned about myself, and this is a life lesson. I hope I never make this mistake again. I know I am not a jack of all trades. I know how to work on yards, and that's what I do, and to make money and support my family. And for me, and this may not be the case for everybody, I need to focus on that and do that. And anytime I have the idea that I'm going to go off and do something else to save money, I need to think about how much time that would take and put that time back into my own business, into doing lawns or working on my YouTube channel or whatever, and take the money I make from that and pay somebody to do the other thing. The simplest example I can come up with is changing your own oil. You know, like say you can change your own oil for $15 and it costs $40 to pay somebody to do it. Now, if you enjoy doing it, can I change my own oil? Yes, I can. Do I enjoy doing it? Not really, but I can do it. But it's the time it takes and the inconvenience of it. And if you enjoy those things, then that's a whole different question. But for people like me, need to focus on one of them. So let me tell you the story of what's happened with this pole barn and why I picked the worst of the three options. You can see here, even though it's going to be wrapped in metal, there's a lot of lumber involved. Well, when I decided to build this and pricing things, I was thinking to get somebody to do everything, including the concrete, it was going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $20,000. Now, this is a 36 by 36 building. I'm going to have a lean-to coming down one side that's going to be 12 feet wide and 36 feet deep, I guess you would call it. So running down the full length of one side. So, I mean, it's a decent sized shop, and I think $20,000, I thought that was okay. I thought doing it myself, I could save $4,000 to $5,000. Actually, what I'm getting at when we're done with this is I'm probably going to spend the same amount of money, maybe even more, to be able to spend 2 weeks of my life working on it, which I don't enjoy, and to have a lesser quality building, because just the fact of the matter is, we're not as good at building it as people who build pole barns all the time. So where did I go wrong? Why did I think I could save $4,000 to $5,000 and end up really maybe saving $4 or $5 instead of $4,000 or $5,000? Well, here's what happened. One, even though it's a metal building, you see all the lumber involved. I didn't know lumber was going to go through the roof in the pricing. So lumber prices went way up since I was getting quotes to have somebody else build it. Other things that were kind of miscalculations on my part, you'll see behind me there's that green machine back there. That's a scissor lift. We needed a scissor lift to be able to get up to high places to reach these things. To rent a scissor lift was $780 for a week. Well, I wasn't really thinking about that when I priced it. And think about these people that are out here doing it, that you hire a company to do it, chances are they already have a method, something they own, some piece of equipment to be able to do these things, and they don't go rent a $780 piece of equipment. So you don't factor that thing in. They also probably have better relationships with the suppliers, whether for lumber, for the steel trusses, for the roll-up doors, for the walk-in doors, for the concrete. They have the relationships with people, and they might have somebody, they might make the steel trusses in-house. They probably get some sort of better deal on their lumber than I would. So that's another reason that I lost out and just didn't understand the amount that the materials were going to cost. And then lastly, how long it's going to take. I'm thinking a group that does these things all the time probably come in here in 2 to 3 days and build the whole thing. For me, you know, for us, I mean, probably 9 working days, and that's not necessarily anybody's fault. We're just we don't do it all the time. We make mistakes. Today we went and we were putting on that fascia board right there, and we didn't measure the metal first that's going to go up there, and so we put the fascia board on. Then we realized our metal wasn't going to reach all the way down here, so we had to take the fascia board off, cut all those what do you call those boards up there? I don't even know what you call those, but anyway, we cut all those off, put the fascia board back on. Well, there's about 3 hours worth of kill time in doing that, and a lot of frustration. So those are mistakes that people that build these things all the time don't make. And they've got the material list down to a T, so they order the exact amount of material, where we don't have enough material, got to make another trip to the store to get the material, or got too much of one. Like I ordered too many of these 6x6 posts that were $61 a piece. Well, you know, things like that just cost you. So a lot of mistakes. That being said, I am excited about the build, and I want to build. I think it's going to be great. I'm just ready for it to be done. And I like to get your thoughts on this kind of stuff, because you know, if you're kind of a handy person and you do a lot of things yourself, you may think, well, of course we'll just go out there and do it ourselves. With you know, I've actually changed brakes on our cars before by myself, and they function. I had some help one time and they functioned. But things like that, again, I'm sitting here thinking, and I want to introduce a term here, not introduce, but just remind us of a term that I think is very important. And I think, how much time does it take me to change my brakes versus someone who does it all the time? And the term I want to introduce, or just remind us of, is opportunity cost. And if I don't teach my kids this by the time they leave my house, I'll consider that a failure of fatherhood. But opportunity cost is not only what it costs you. You know, we think a lot about, you know, the cost of things. Opportunity cost is not only what it would cost you, but what you could have done with that time or money or whatever it is that you spent on something else. So let me give you an example. Let's say this building costs the same amount whether I did it or hired somebody, and that's probably about the way it's going to work out. Well, what's the opportunity cost? Is that it might take 2 weeks of my downtime that I could have been doing something else that could have been more profitable and generated more income. When you think about investment terms, if you spend $100 on something, yes, it costs you $100, but it also costs you the opportunity of what that $100 could have been used for. That if you would have invested in this particular stock and it tripled over the next 10 years, then it actually cost you $300 over 10 years. And so anyway, that's just a concept that I'm wrapping my mind around. And so when I spend time doing my own brakes, building my own workshop, what could I have been doing that would have been more profitable and just paid somebody to do those things? Like I said, I don't enjoy it. I don't like it. I don't want to change my brakes. I don't want to build this. If you're a handy person, you know how to do it, and you want to do it, and you enjoy doing it. It's like tennis. I boycotted tennis. I don't like tennis. I tried to play tennis. I couldn't hit a backhand. I was like, why am I spending time running across the court to over there to just try to hit a backhand and hit it into the net and get frustrated? I said, just boycott the whole sport and get rid of it. I don't want to play tennis. I'd rather do something that I'm better at. And that's my theory, man. I'm not trying to be jack of all trades anymore. You know what I got done after today? We got done, it started raining. We quit working on this building. It took us about an hour to get one piece of metal on the roof, because I'm sitting there trying to screw the screws in the metal roof, and they kept slipping, and we should have pre-drilled the holes, and we didn't pre-drill the holes. They kept slipping, and then the screw would twist up and get caught up in my glove, and I have to untwist my glove. And I thought, we're gonna be here all day getting one piece of metal on here. And you know, of course, when I'm sitting there thinking about opportunity cost, something, what could I be doing besides trying to get screws in this one piece of metal? What would a group come in that does metal roofing all the time? Could they not have this whole building wrapped in metal in one day, and we might take us 3 days because we're so slow? So when we got rained out today and I was frustrated by how it was going, you know what I did? I went and got on my lawnmower and I cut my grass. Because here's the thing, I can do a average to below average job on a lot of things. I've changed out some toilets, I did my brakes, you know, change the oil. I mean, I don't want to be helpless. I'm not one of these people that can't change a flat tire or anything. But I'm saying I can do average to below average on a lot of things. When I got on my lawnmower, I said, I want to do something that I know I can do above average. And that's ride this lawnmower. And I started cutting a diagonal pattern in my yard. I said, I want to do something I know how to do that's gonna go right, that I'm comfortable with. And to remind myself, don't think you're saving yourself money when you go out and try to do it on your own. You could have hired somebody, you could have been investing in your own thing. Make sure you enjoy it, then do whatever you want. Tomorrow, we're working on this building again. And yes, I would definitely, no doubt, rather go to the dentist. I would rather go to the dentist even if I knew I had a cavity and they were gonna jab a needle in my gum and drill out the cavity. I still would rather do that than work on this building. But I'm gonna be working on the building and I wanna feel the pain of working on it so that I don't make the same mistake, because we're about to start adding on to our house. You know, my wife suggested, you know, maybe we should do our own tile work in the bathroom. Listen to this, I'm not doing my own tile work. Could I do an average to below average job on laying the tile in the bathroom? Oh, I absolutely could. I could do an average to below average job that would take 2 to 3 times longer. I've got friends that work on their own bathrooms. Some of them turn out great, some of them not so great. Some of them take months and months and months and months. And I'm telling you, for if you're in business for yourself and you have the opportunity to go out and do something else to generate more income than you're saving yourself working on something, then you absolutely should do that, in my opinion, unless you just enjoy doing tile work, and I don't. One last example, recently a belt come off a lawnmower, and I've changed belts on a lawnmower. It's not usually that difficult, but in this particular situation, there was 3 men, including myself, and we had hooked a tractor up to it to try to pull the tension spring to get it back where it goes. And I'm not sure we were doing everything right, but we got it put back together. It lasted less than a month and the belt popped off again, because guess what? We probably did an average to below average job putting it on there. We didn't do something right, it slipped back off. And what happened when it happened the second time? I got it and we took it to the dealership and they fixed it, and it hadn't come off since. Because I don't want to be messing with stuff like that I'm not good at. I'm just to the point, you know, I got other things I can do with my life. You get the point. I'm hiring out things and I'm working on my lawn business and doing the things that I know how to do. Let me hear your thoughts. I'm Jason Creel. Appreciate you watching videos. Over 500 videos on the channel. Encourage you to subscribe. Go over to lawncarelife.com and look at the resources available for you there if you're in the lawn care business. Love to hear your comments. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you watching. Bye.